I used to think treating your scalp like a second face was peak beauty industry nonsense until my hairline started thinning after baby number 2 and those weird flaky patches wouldn't budge no matter what expensive shampoo I tried. My name is Sarah Ling-Miller, and I spent 2 years figuring out exactly how to layer scalp actives between depositions and daycare pickups, so you don't have to.
You're listening to Luxury Beauty on a Budget podcast. Quick note before we get going. Everything you hear in this episode, all the research, the product details, the price breakdowns, that's written and verified by me, a real human. The voice delivering it to you is AI generated, but the information is 100% human authored and fact-checked. Just wanted to be upfront about that. I really appreciate you tuning in, especially those of you who've been listening for a while. It means a lot. And if this is your first episode, welcome. We release new episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, covering beauty that actually works without the luxury price tag. Today we're getting into how to layer scalp actives safely, the exact order, the timing, what actually works. Let's get into it.
Here's what you're getting in the next 10 minutes. The exact order to apply scalp actives without irritation, how to layer ingredients like niacinamide, peptides, and exfoliants safely, and which combinations actually work versus which ones waste your money. Time investment, 5 to 7 minutes nightly once you've got it down. Skill level, beginner friendly, I promise. This is the system I've refined over 2 years of testing. No fluff, just what actually works when you're exhausted and need results yesterday. Now, let's talk about what you'll need before we dive in. You probably have most of this already. You'll want an applicator bottle with a precision tip. I use a 4-ounce bottle from the Ordinary's dropper packaging. Costs around $3 to replace. Grab some sectioning clips. The $5 pack from Target works fine. You'll need your current scalp actives, which we'll discuss combinations of in detail. Start with a clean, dry scalp, either freshly washed or at least 24 hours post-wash. Keep your phone or a timer handy for proper absorption intervals. Use a small notebook or your phone's notes app to track what you're using and any reactions. pH testing strips are optional but helpful, around $8 for 100 strips, and keep cotton pads around for removal if something goes wrong. The total cost to get started if you have nothing, around $20 for tools, excluding the actives themselves. Your actives will vary based on your specific scalp concerns, but budget around $40 to $80 for a solid starter routine that'll last 3 to 4 months. All right, step 1 is starting with pH balance and a clean scalp. This takes 2 to 3 minutes. Your scalp's natural pH sits between 4.5 and 5.5, slightly acidic to maintain moisture barrier and prevent bacterial overgrowth. When you start layering scalp actives without considering pH, you're basically asking for irritation, dryness, or that weird burning sensation I experienced when I slapped 10% niacinamide directly onto my scalp after using a clarifying shampoo without a buffer. Not my finest moment. Here's the deal. Wash your hair 2 to 4 hours before applying actives, or work with day-old hair. Your scalp needs to be clean, but not stripped. If you're using a clarifying shampoo, most are pH 6 to 7. You'll want to wait longer, about 4 to 6 hours before applying actives. Regular gentle shampoos, pH 5 to 5.5, require less time wait. Section your hair into 4 quadrants using your clips. Part down the middle from forehead to nape, then from ear to ear across the crown. This isn't beauty school precision. Just make it easy to access your entire scalp without hunting through your hair like you're looking for a lost earring backing. Check your scalp's current state. Is it red, flaky? Does it feel tight? If you've got active irritation, skip any exfoliating actives and start with barrier-supporting ingredients like Centella asiatica or panthenol, also called provitamin B5. I learned this the hard way after a particularly stressful trial week when I tried to layer salicylic acid on an already irritated scalp. Pro tip: if you're new to scalp actives entirely, check out the link below for a deeper dive into pH balance and barrier function before you start layering multiple products. Moving on to step 2, applying your water-based humectants first. This takes 2 minutes, plus a 2 to 3 minute absorption window. The golden rule of layering scalp actives: thinnest to thickest, water-based before oil-based. It's the same principle as facial skincare, except your scalp has hair follicles and a denser sebum production pattern that changes everything about absorption. Start with humectants, ingredients that draw water into the scalp tissue. Your best budget options are hyaluronic acid serums. Look for multi-molecular weight formulas. Check the link below to see the current price on the Inky List hyaluronic acid serum, which works perfectly here at around $9.99 for 1 ounce. You need about 1 to 2 milliliters, roughly 20 to 40 drops, to cover your entire scalp. That's around 33 to 66 cents per application, or about $10 to $20 monthly if you use it nightly. The formula contains 3 molecular weights, high, medium, and low, which means the high molecular weight HA sits on the scalp's surface to prevent water loss, while the low molecular weight HA penetrates into the scalp tissue for deeper hydration. For glycerin-based toners at 3 to 5% glycerin concentration, check the link below for Heritage Store Rose Water with glycerin, around $8 for 8 ounces, and works beautifully. It's manufactured in Virginia, pH balanced at 5.5, and the glycerin percentage is around 4%. Cost per application, about 10 cents. Some people find straight glycerin sticky, but at this concentration mixed with rose water, it absorbs within 90 seconds. Apply using your precision tip bottle directly to the scalp along each part line. Don't drench your hair. You want the product on your scalp, not sliding down your strands. Use your fingertips, freshly washed hands please, to massage it in gently for 30 to 60 seconds. The massage isn't just for that spa moment feeling. It increases blood flow to the hair follicles, which enhances absorption of whatever you're applying. Wait 2 to 3 minutes before moving to the next step. I know, waiting feels inefficient, but if you layer the next active too quickly, you're mixing formulations and potentially changing pH or creating ingredient interactions that reduce efficacy. I fold laundry or respond to emails during this window. Step 3 is where we layer your active treatment serums. This takes 3 to 4 minutes, plus a 5-minute absorption window. This is where layering scalp actives gets specific to your concerns. You're choosing 1 to 2 actives maximum per routine here, not 5, not the entire shelf of the ordinary. Your scalp cannot process that many chemical signals simultaneously, and you'll just end up with expensive irritation. For hair growth and follicle stimulation, you want peptide serums with copper peptides or biomimetic peptides. Check the link below for the ordinary multi-peptide serum for hair density, costs around $19 for 2 ounces, and contains biotin tripeptide 1, acetyl tetrapeptide 3, and ECGC from green tea. Molecular weights range from 500 to 1200 Daltons, small enough for scalp penetration. You need 1 milliliter, about 20 drops, per application. That's around 32 cents per use, or about $9.50 monthly for nightly use. Apply this the same way as your humectant, section by section, directly onto the scalp. The peptides work by signaling hair follicle cells to extend the anagen or growth phase and reduce inflammation around the follicle. Clinical studies on acetyl tetrapeptide 3 show a 13% reduction in hair loss after 4 months of consistent use. Not dramatic, but measurable. For inflammation and sebum regulation, you want niacinamide, that's vitamin B3, at 5 to 10% concentration. Check the link below for Good Molecules niacinamide serum, around $6 for 1 ounce at 10% niacinamide, manufactured in South Korea with the same quality standards as K-Beauty leader brands. Cost per application, around 20 cents for 1 milliliter. Niacinamide regulates sebum production, critical if you have oily scalp, reduces inflammation, and strengthens the scalp barrier by increasing ceramide synthesis. If you're using both peptides and niacinamide, apply niacinamide first. Niacinamide has a pH of 5.6, closer to your scalp's natural pH, while peptide serums often sit at pH 5.5 to 6.5. Wait 2 to 3 minutes between applications. For more details on choosing active ingredients for your scalp type, including porosity considerations and absorption rates, check the link below for a full breakdown that covers when to use what. For exfoliation and flake control, you want salicylic acid, that's BHA, at 2% concentration, or lactic acid and AHA at 5 to 10% concentration.
Paula's Choice 2% BHA liquid exfoliant costs around $32 for 4 ounces. Yes, it's marketed for face, but it works perfectly on scalp at around 27 cents per 1 milliliter application. The BHA penetrates into the hair follicles because it's oil-soluble, clearing sebum plugs and dead skin cells.
Critical point. If you're using chemical exfoliants, use them only 2 to 3 times weekly, not nightly. And here's the friction. Salicylic acid stings like hell if you have any microcuts on your scalp from scratching or if you've been aggressive with a scalp brush. I learned this while preparing for a hearing, applied my BHA serum without thinking, and spent the next 5 minutes with my head under cold water. Don't be me. After applying your active treatment, set a timer for 5 minutes. This absorption window is non-negotiable if you're layering multiple products. Now let's talk about step 4, adding antioxidants for cellular protection. This takes 2 minutes plus a 3-minute absorption window. If you're already using peptides or niacinamide, you might wonder why you need antioxidants. Here's why. Oxidative stress from UV exposure, pollution, and even styling tools creates free radicals that damage hair follicle cells and accelerate aging. Antioxidants neutralize these before they cause problems. Your budget-friendly options include vitamin C, either L-ascorbic acid or derivatives. Timeless vitamin C serum is around $13 for 1 ounce at 20% L-ascorbic acid, pH 2.5. But here's the catch. Pure L-ascorbic acid at pH 2.5 is too acidic for most scalps, especially if you've just applied other actives. Instead, opt for ethyl ascorbic acid at 15% pH 5 to 6, which is gentler and more stable. Geek and Gorgeous Sea Glow costs around $17 for 1 ounce and delivers comparable results at a friendlier pH. Cost per use? About 57 cents for 1 milliliter. It's pricier per application than other actives, but you can get away with using this only 3 to 4 times weekly rather than daily. For resveratrol plus ferulic acid, the ordinary resveratrol 3% plus ferulic acid 3% is around $8 for 1 ounce, and this combination is powerful for protecting against environmental damage and has some emerging research around hair follicle protection from androgenetic alopecia. pH sits around 5.5 to 6, so it layers well after most actives. Cost per 1 milliliter application, around 27 cents. Apply using the same sectioning method. I typically alternate vitamin C derivative 3 nights per week, resveratrol plus ferulic acid the other nights. This prevents ingredient overload and keeps my cost per month around $15 for this step. Wait 3 minutes before moving to any oil-based products. This matters because antioxidants need to penetrate before you create an occlusive barrier. Step 5 is sealing everything with targeted oils or occlusives. This takes 2 to 3 minutes. This is where layering scalp actives shifts from treatment to protection. You've applied water-based actives. Now you need to prevent transepidermal water loss and help those actives stay put rather than evaporating or getting absorbed into your pillowcase. Your scalp doesn't need the same heavy occlusion as your face might, especially if you have fine or oily hair. The goal is strategic sealing, not creating a grease slick. For dry scalp or damaged hair follicles, rosehip seed oil contains natural retinoids plus essential fatty acids. The ordinary 100% organic cold-pressed rosehip seed oil is around $10 for 1 ounce. You need half a milliliter, about 10 drops, for full scalp coverage. That's around 17 cents per use. Pat it onto your scalp, not your hair lengths, unless they're dry too, focusing on areas where you applied actives. For inflammation-prone scalp, jojoba oil mimics sebum structure and has anti-inflammatory properties. Desert Essence Organic Jojoba Oil is around $8 for 2 ounces at Trader Joe's. Cost per half milliliter application, around 7 cents. It's manufactured in California and cold-pressed, which preserves the vitamin E and phytosterols that reduce scalp inflammation. For ultimate barrier sealing, squalene from olive or sugarcane is non-comedogenic, even on scalp skin. The ordinary 100% plant-derived squalene is around $8 for 1 ounce, around 27 cents per 1 milliliter application. It's lighter than traditional oils, absorbs within 10 to 15 minutes, and won't make your hair look greasy by morning. Here's the friction I've found with this step. If you use too much oil, your hair will look dirty by morning, even if you applied it only to your scalp. Start with 5 to 7 drops, literally. You can always add more tomorrow night. I oversaturated my scalp the first week and ended up washing my hair daily, which completely defeated the purpose of the routine. For those exploring cutting-edge ingredients, check the link below for more on peptides and hair care, covering molecular weight considerations and how oils affect peptide penetration. It's worth understanding before you commit to nightly oil application. Step 6 is incorporating exfoliating actives, but only 2 to 3 times weekly. This takes 3 to 4 minutes plus a 10-minute absorption window. This step doesn't happen nightly. It's your twice or thrice weekly reset when your scalp needs deeper exfoliation than daily chemical actives provide. If you're already using low percentage BHA or AHA in step 3, you might skip dedicated exfoliation entirely. But if you deal with buildup, stubborn flakes, or product residue, this is essential. For chemical exfoliation, beyond the salicylic acid I mentioned earlier, consider glycolic acid at 7 to 10% for surface exfoliation. The ordinary glycolic acid 7% toning solution is around $9 for 8 ounces. Yes, it's for face, but ingredients don't care about marketing. Apply 1 to 2 milliliters to scalp. pH is around 3.5 to 4, which means it's working at optimal exfoliating efficiency, but will tingle or sting slightly. If you've got sensitive scalp, this isn't your product. Cost per application, around 4 cents, legitimately the cheapest step in the entire routine. For enzyme exfoliation, papain from papaya or bromelain from pineapple offer gentler exfoliation. A Cure Brightening Facial Scrub contains both at a concentration around 2 to 3% and costs around $10 for 4 ounces. Apply to damp scalp, massage for 60 seconds, let sit for 5 minutes, then rinse thoroughly. This isn't a leave-on product like the others. Enzymes need moisture and time to work, then you wash them out. The mistake I see constantly is using physical scrubs, those with walnut shell powder or sugar granules, before applying actives. The physical scraping creates micro tears in your scalp skin, and then you layer potentially irritating actives onto compromised skin. Recipe for disaster. If you love physical exfoliation, do it on a night when you're not layering actives, or do it in the shower before you start your routine. Timing matters here. Apply exfoliating actives first on exfoliation nights, before your humectants or treatment serums. The exfoliant clears the path for better absorption of everything that follows. Wait 10 minutes after exfoliating before applying the next layer. Your scalp needs a minute to stabilize its pH. One more honest friction point is the smell. Some enzyme exfoliants smell like overripe fruit fermenting in your hair. You get used to it or you don't. I tolerate it because the results are worth it, but I won't pretend it's pleasant. Step 7 is monitoring, adjusting, and tracking results. This takes 2 minutes weekly for journaling, plus ongoing observation. This isn't a step you do in the moment. It's the maintenance system that determines whether layering scalp actives is actually working for you or just burning through your budget. Every Sunday morning or whatever day you have 5 minutes, take progress photos and notes. I use my phone's front camera to photograph my hairline, crown, and any problem areas. The lighting in my bathroom is garbage, so I stand by the bedroom window for consistent natural light. You're looking for flake reduction. Are those white specks decreasing? Redness changes. Is your scalp less inflamed? Hair density. After 8 to 12 weeks, are you seeing baby hairs at the hairline? Sebum production. Is your hair staying cleaner longer between washes? Track your product usage. I keep a note on my phone listing what I applied each night and any reactions. When I introduced 10% niacinamide after using 5% for months, I noted increased dryness on days 3 to 5. Then, my scalp adjusted by day 7. That information told me I could continue, but I needed to increase my humectant layer on niacinamide nights. Cost tracking matters too. I bill by the hour, so I think about everything in terms of value per time invested. My current routine costs around $28 monthly for products, takes 6 minutes nightly, and has reduced my hair shedding by roughly 30% based on hair caught in my brush. That's around 93 cents per day for measurably healthier hair and scalp. Compared to the $85 monthly scalp treatments I tried at a trendy salon that did exactly nothing, this routine is 30% the cost with 300% better results. When should you adjust? If you're seeing zero improvement after 6 weeks, something's not working. Common culprits include wrong active concentrations for your concern, pH incompatibility between layered products, overexfoliation, which actually increases inflammation, or applying products to dirty or product buildup coated scalp. For detailed guidance on building a comprehensive skinification hair care routine, including product order and timing considerations, check the link below for a full checklist that complements this layering guide. Step 8 is phasing in retinoids, and this is for advanced users only. This takes 2 to 3 minutes, 2 to 3 times weekly maximum. If you've been consistently using scalp actives for 3+ months without irritation, you might consider adding retinoids for hair growth stimulation and increased cell turnover. This is absolutely optional and honestly unnecessary for most people, but if you're dealing with androgenetic alopecia or significant hair thinning, retinoids show solid clinical evidence. Let's talk retinol versus retinaldehyde. Retinol requires 2 conversion steps to become active retinoic acid in your scalp tissue. Retinaldehyde requires only 1 conversion, making it more effective but potentially more irritating. For scalp use, start with 0.25% encapsulated retinol maximum. The ordinary retinol 0.2% in squalene is around $7 for 1 ounce. Apply half a milliliter, 10 to 12 drops, to dry scalp, focusing on areas of hair thinning. Cost per use, around 12 cents. The squalene carrier helps buffer potential irritation. Critical application rules. Use retinoids only at night. They degrade in light. Never combine with exfoliating acids on the same night. Apply retinoid last in your routine after everything else. Start once weekly for a month, then increase to twice weekly if tolerated. Expect some flaking or dryness in weeks 2 to 4. This is normal retinization. Here's the honest friction. Retinoids on your scalp are uncomfortable while you adjust. You'll experience itching, flaking, and possibly some initial increased shedding. This is temporary as the hair cycle resets. I tried this during a particularly quiet month at work because I knew I'd be distracted and irritable. If you're in a high stress period or can't tolerate any adjustment symptoms, wait. For those interested in retinol scalp treatments specifically, including concentration comparisons and growth factor combinations, check the link below for a detailed breakdown of the top 7 budget-friendly options tested in 2026. The payoff? After 6 months of twice-weekly 0.25% retinol use, I saw measurable improvement in my hairline density, about 15 to 20% more visible baby hairs growing in. Not miracle-level results, but genuine photographable change. At around 24 cents per week in product cost, I'll take it. Now let's cover some pro tips and common mistakes. The timing trick nobody tells you. If you're using multiple actives, the total routine time stretches to 15 to 20 minutes with all the absorption windows. That's unrealistic on weeknights when you're falling asleep standing up. Here's what I actually do. Full routine on Sunday and Wednesday evenings, abbreviated 2-product routine with just humectant plus 1 active on other nights. Consistency beats comprehensiveness. The pH mistake that ruins everything. Layering a high pH product like some peptide serums at pH 7 after a low pH product like vitamin C at pH 3 can neutralize the acids and make them ineffective. If you're using multiple actives with wildly different pHs, wait longer between applications, 5 to 7 minutes instead of 2 to 3, or simplify your routine. I use pH testing strips every few months to verify my products play well together. The application error I made for months. I was applying products while bent over the bathroom sink, letting them drip into my hair instead of directly onto my scalp. Waste of product and ineffective delivery. Now I sit upright or slightly reclined, section carefully, and use a mirror to ensure I'm hitting scalp skin, not hair shafts. The over-exfoliation trap.
Using both physical scrubs and chemical exfoliants and daily retinoids is a recipe for a damaged, inflamed scalp that looks worse than when you started. Pick one exfoliation method, use it 2 to 3 times weekly maximum, and give your scalp recovery days. I schedule exfoliation Sundays and Wednesdays only, leaving 3 to 4 days between for barrier recovery.
The more is better fallacy. Doubling the amount of serum doesn't double the results. It doubles the cost and potentially causes irritation from overload. Stick to recommended amounts, usually 1 to 2 milliliters for full scalp coverage. I measured this out with a syringe once to see what it actually looks like, and it's way less than you think. Let's tackle some frequently asked questions. Can I layer scalp actives every night, or should I take breaks? You should use gentle actives like niacinamide, peptides, and hyaluronic acid daily without breaks, but limit exfoliating actives like salicylic acid, glycolic acid, and retinoids to 2 to 3 times weekly, and give your scalp 1 to 2 recovery days between applications. Your scalp barrier needs time to repair and rebuild after exfoliation. I take a full 24-hour break from all actives except humectants every Sunday to let my scalp completely reset. Think of it as a maintenance day rather than a treatment day. How long does it take to see results from layering scalp actives? Most people see initial improvements in scalp condition, reduced flaking, less oiliness, decreased irritation within 2 to 4 weeks of consistent application, but hair growth and density changes require 8 to 12 weeks minimum because of the hair growth cycle timeline. Hair follicles cycle through anagen, which is growth, catagen, which is transition, and telogen, which is resting, over months, not weeks. So any active targeting follicle function needs at least one complete cycle to show measurable results. I photographed my hairline weekly for 3 months before I could definitively say the routine was working. Patience is non-negotiable here. Should I apply scalp actives to wet or dry scalp? Apply actives to a completely dry scalp for maximum efficacy and control, ideally 2 to 4 hours after washing or on day-old hair. Wet scalp dilutes product concentrations and changes pH, which can reduce effectiveness or increase irritation risk. Water also increases scalp permeability, which sounds beneficial, but actually means actives penetrate too quickly and can cause inflammation before your skin barrier adjusts. The only exception is enzyme exfoliants, which require moisture to activate. Apply those to damp scalp, let them work, then rinse completely before continuing your routine. Can I use the same actives on my scalp that I use on my face? Yes. Most facial actives work on your scalp because it's the same skin tissue with the same cellular structure, but you need to consider hair follicle density and sebum production differences when choosing concentrations and formulations. Your scalp tolerates slightly higher concentrations of some actives, like niacinamide, at 10% versus 5% on face, because sebum provides natural buffering, but it's more sensitive to fragrance and volatile alcohols because they can irritate hair follicles. Start with facial concentrations when adapting products to scalp use, then increase only if needed after 4 weeks of tolerance testing. So here's the summary. Learning how to layer scalp actives safely comes down to this: thin to thick application order, pH awareness, proper absorption timing, and realistic expectations about results timeframe. You're applying humectants first to hydrate, treatment actives second to address specific concerns, and occlusives last to seal everything in and prevent water loss. The entire routine takes 5 to 7 minutes nightly once you've streamlined it, costs around $25 to $35 monthly for quality budget products, and delivers measurable results within 8 to 12 weeks if you're consistent. Skip the expensive salon treatments and influencer-hyped products. This systematic, chemistry-informed approach works better and costs less. Start with 2 products maximum, a humectant and 1 active targeting your primary concern. Master that for a month, then add complexity only if needed. Your scalp doesn't need 17 steps. It needs the right ingredients in the right order at the right frequency. That's it. Now, section your hair, grab your applicator bottle, and actually try this tonight instead of bookmarking it and forgetting about it for 6 months. You'll thank yourself when you stop scratching constantly and actually see baby hairs growing in where you thought your hairline was permanently done. Thanks so much for listening to this episode of Luxury Beauty on a Budget podcast. New episodes come out every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, so you've always got something fresh to listen to on your commute or while you're getting ready. If this episode helped you, I'd really appreciate it if you'd leave a 5-star rating and write a quick review. It's genuinely the best way for other people to find the show when they're searching for real beauty advice that doesn't cost a fortune. And hit subscribe or follow so you get a notification the second a new episode drops. I'll catch you next time.